Did you know that dogs are better at reading your body language than they are at understanding your words? Yep, your furry friend is basically a silent communication ninja. While you're busy yelling, "Sit, stay, come," your dog is already decoding your every move, from the tilt of your head to the way you shift your weight. So why not use that to your advantage? Let's dive into the world of silent commands and unlock the secret to making your dog obey without uttering a single word. Silent commands are like a secret handshake between you and your dog. They're not just about getting your pup to behave, they're about building a deeper connection. When you communicate silently, you're speaking your dog's language. It's less about training and more about understanding each other. Plus, it's a great party trick to impress your friends when your dog responds to a simple hand gesture while theirs are still barking up the wrong tree. Let's face it, talking to your dog doesn't always work. You shout, "Come," at the park, and your dog suddenly develops selective hearing, pretending you don't exist. Or you're trying to get them to sit, but they're too busy sniffing the neighbor's lawn. Verbal commands can fall flat, especially when distractions are high or your dog is feeling stubborn. And let's not even talk about those moments when your voice cracks mid-command, and your dog just stares at you like, "What was that?" This is where silent commands come in. They cut through the noise, literally, and give you a way to communicate clearly, even in chaotic situations. No more yelling until your throat hurts. Just subtle, effective cues that your dog can't ignore. So, how do you master the art of silent commands? It's all about using your body to speak volumes. Here are some techniques to get you started. Hand signals. Dogs are visual creatures, and hand signals are one of the easiest ways to communicate silently. For example, sit. Hold your hand flat, palm up, and move it upward. Stay. Extend your arm straight out, palm facing your dog. Come. Open your arms wide like you're inviting them in for a hug. Pro tip: pair these signals with treats at first to help your dog make the connection. Body posture. Your stance says a lot to your dog. Standing tall with your shoulders back can signal authority, while crouching down can make you seem more approachable. For example, to call your dog, crouch low and open your arms. To signal stop, stand tall and block their path with your body. Facial expressions. Dogs are experts at reading human faces. A stern look can stop them in their tracks, while a smile can encourage them to come closer. Use your eyes and eyebrows to convey emotions. Your dog will pick up on it faster than you think. Energy and movement. Your energy level can influence your dog's behavior. Slow, deliberate movements can calm them down, while quick, excited movements can get them hyped up. For example, if your dog is jumping on guests, turn your back and stand still. This sends a clear message that jumping won't get them attention. Let me tell you about Sarah and her Labrador, Max. Max was the kind of dog who could turn a peaceful afternoon into a full-blown circus act. He was the master of chaos, bolting out the door the second it cracked open, ignoring Sarah's frantic calls at the park, and generally acting like he was the one in charge of the household. Sarah loved Max to pieces, but she was exhausted. She had tried everything: treats, clickers, even dog training classes. But nothing seemed to work for long. Max was just Max. Then, one day, Sarah stumbled upon the concept of silent commands. At first, she was skeptical. How could not saying anything possibly work better than all the yelling and pleading she'd been doing? But she was desperate, so she decided to give it a shot. She started small with the sit command. Instead of saying the word, she used a hand signal, holding her hand flat, palm up, and moving it upward. At first, Max just stared at her like she'd grown a second head. But Sarah stayed patient. She paired the hand signal with a treat, and after a few tries, Max sat. It was a small victory, but it was enough to give Sarah hope. Next, she tackled the stay command. Instead of repeating stay over and over, she used a simple hand gesture, extending her arm straight out, palm facing Max. To her amazement, Max stayed put. It was like magic. But the real test came at the park. Max was notorious for ignoring Sarah's calls, especially when there were other dogs or interesting smells to distract him. This time, instead of shouting "come" at the top of her lungs, Sarah crouched down, opened her arms wide, and stayed perfectly still. Max glanced over, hesitated for a moment, and then, miracle of miracles, he came running straight to her. Sarah couldn't believe it. For the first time in years, she felt like she was actually in control. The final breakthrough came with the door dashing issue. Max had a bad habit of bolting out the door every time it opened, which was not only dangerous but also incredibly frustrating. Sarah decided to try a silent technique she'd read about. using her body to block the doorway. The next time Max tried to dart out, she didn't say a word. She simply stood in his way, arms crossed, and refused to move. Max tried to wiggle past her, but Sarah held her ground. After a few minutes of this silent standoff, Max finally sat down and looked up at her, as if to say, "Okay, you win." From that day on, Max was a changed dog. He still had his moments of mischief. He was a Labrador, after all, but he was infinitely more responsive to Sarah's silent cues. The best part? Their bond grew stronger than ever. Sarah realized that by communicating in a way that felt natural to Max, she wasn't just training him. She was building trust and understanding. Max's transformation wasn't just a win for Sarah. It was proof that silent commands really work. Whether you're dealing with a hyperactive pup like Max or just want to improve your communication with your dog, silent techniques can be a game changer. Silent commands aren't just a training tool, they're a way to connect with your dog on a deeper level. By using hand signals, body language, and facial expressions, you can communicate clearly and effectively, even in the most distracting situations. Plus, it's a lot less exhausting than yelling across the park. So, why not give it a try? Start with 1 or 2 silent cues and see how your dog responds. You might be surprised at how quickly they catch on. Have you tried silent commands with your dog? Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you're looking for more dog training tips, check out my other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more pawsome content.